If you're chasing big payouts, high profit splits, and a fast path to funding, you're not alone. But most prop firms make it harder than it actually needs to be, with fine print and all these delays that just kill your momentum. Here are the ones that actually let you keep more of your profits, and which ones are just pretending to, right? So let's start from where it all started in my journey, right? So before I ever passed one of these challenges or got funded myself, I actually spent days just obsessing over the reviews, like the Reddit threads, Trustpilot pages, trading forums, like you name it. And I wasn't just looking for the hype on the top, like I was trying to figure out where traders were actually getting tripped up. Because let's be honest, if you've been burned by shady funding promises or payout games before, you're not falling for a glossy website or a polished promo video again. So I started where every serious trader should, with the negative reviews first. Yeah, the ugly stuff, the stuff that most review videos skip over entirely because, it can give things a bad look. But Take Profit Trader had this one trader who said that his first evaluation never even got activated. He waited 3 weeks, heard nothing, got refunded, signed up again, and then his second account sat there inactive for another week. Now, if this kind of thing happened to me, I would definitely be frustrated too. But then again, after looking more into it, it did seem like this was a support bottleneck, not like a scam or anything. If they refunded the first account, that tells me they're not ghosting people outright. Plus, tech hiccups do happen and delays happen. I've personally dealt with account setup delays on other platforms too. It's not really unique to Take Profit Trader, and based on everything else I've seen in the reviews, it's not the norm either. And even better, many users have shared the exact opposite experience. One reviewer said that he had doubts about their support at first too, after looking at reviews or, just some doubts, but recently he got his questions answered in a few minutes. And what stood out the most was his payout was processed within hours and hit his European bank account the same day. That is rare in this space among all these programs. Just like for me, I waited days for other firms who claimed to be the best prop firms, and it just took a while to get my money. Now, over to Apex Trader Funding, which actually has one of the best reputations I've also seen, sitting at a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So I did find a pretty few intense reviews. So this is one from a trader who claimed that he was approved for a payout, had email confirmation, but never got the money, even though the account showed the status as paid. That's like one of those, wait, what? moments that would make anyone hesitate about joining and staying with the program. But here's also what I've learned after spending, again, way too much time around prop firms and looking at reviews. Payout statuses can sometimes lag behind actual transfers, especially depending on your bank itself. You add in some weekends, you add in international processing, or even internal approval delays or other things, and suddenly paid doesn't always mean received. And again, I couldn't really find multiple people saying the same thing, maybe one or two. Plus, Apex has since been updated and increased their payout structure to be more flexible. So this might just be an edge case during that transition. And on the flip side, I saw a lot of users who said that Apex helped them become more disciplined traders. This trader said that Apex prop trading firm completely changed how he approached the market. The evaluation to paid account process was smooth, the charts gave him real-time progress visuals, and he appreciated how transparent the rules were. It actually helped him become a more disciplined trader. And that's his words, not mine. Now, let's actually talk about the one prop trading firm that gets maybe a bit more mixed review feedback, and that's FunderPro, which has a slightly lower rating of 3.9 out of 5. Not that much different, but maybe the experience isn't as good. So one user said the experience was just frustrating for them. He mentioned daily rewards were promised but never showed up. Said that he wouldn't trust them again. And yeah, I get that, fair concern. But to their credit, FunderPro actually responded to that review. They acknowledged the frustration, and they explained that the daily rewards are available, but only for traders who meet specific requirements. And they were open about reviewing the case and making things right if something didn't work as expected. But I guess just this guy didn't have those specific requirements or something else. But they responded. It shows that they're transparent, and it really goes a long way. It just shows that they're not dodging complaints or hiding behind automation. If anything, it does look like a case of misunderstanding, of the terms or maybe of the missed requirements, not like the broken system itself. And look, not everyone has had that experience. In fact, most didn't. One review I found raved about how fast the payout process was. He also mentioned that the dashboard was easy to use, the support was responsive, and the overall experience made the grind to get funded feel worth it. And That's a big claim, but again, it's coming from someone who went through the process firsthand. Now, it is pretty obvious that no prop firm is perfect, right? Every single one of them is going to have someone out there with a horror story, some complaints, will encounter glitches. Like that's just reality. But from what I've seen and what I've personally tested, Take Profit Trader, Apex, and even FunderPro, all of them together, they just show clear signs of consistency, real payouts, and that there are platforms that are improving. And that, I think, makes them the best prop trading firms. If you're still watching, you probably care about making the right call among them, and I respect that. So let's move on to what really separates these three best prop trading firms. The real features, what's in the programs. Because once you're past the evaluations, once you've read all the reviews, once you have your funded accounts in place, it's the actual tools that make or break the experience. All right, let's start with Take Profit Trader. This one has a rewards system that genuinely caught my attention. I didn't expect much from it, but the way that they gamify consistent trading blew me away as like an idea and the way they worked it. So you actually unlock perks like reduced fees, faster payouts, and more generous rules just by hitting specific milestones over time. It kind of feels like leveling up in a video game, but with real money on the line. Now, the Pro Plus account, that's where it gets serious. You get higher profit splits and not just on some special promo. They're giving 90% to 10 for the profit split for traders who prove that they're consistent. And on top of that, you can have multiple Pro or Pro Plus accounts all running at once. That means that you can experiment with different strategies or different trials without like risking your main account. So that's perfect if you trade multiple styles or timeframes or strategies. And the payout system, day one withdrawals are allowed on Pro accounts. I didn't even believe that until I tested it myself, but it worked for me. And yep, if you make profit on day one and you meet the basic rules, you can cash out the same day. You're not locked into like a 2-week holding period like some of their competitors. Apex trader funding, though, has kind of a different flavor. Their payout structure recently changed for the better. You no longer have to wait for set payout windows. So if you meet the rules, you can then request a payout anytime. I tested this last month. I made my profit. I hit their 8-day trading minimum with at least 5 $50 plus profit days, and I requested payout. I got it within the week. Their dashboard is also one of the best I've seen. The eval and PA charts give a clean view of where your account stands. You can even see trailing drawdowns, profit targets, and the exact metrics updated every night. So I found this super helpful during my PA phase because it eliminated the guesswork. All right, now onto FunderPro. FunderPro's biggest edge, I think, is the simplicity of their challenge. You get up to $200,000 in funding with a really straightforward rule set. And what interests me most is that FunderPro refunds your challenge fee, but only if you pass all phases and earn at least 1% profit in your funded account. All right. But even with all of these standout features, each firm still has its shortcomings. With Take Profit Trader, the biggest adjustment for me was getting used to the various account types, Pro versus Pro Plus, and what they each unlock, and the complexity of using each one. It's not necessarily complicated once you're in, but at first, it took a bit of clicking around to really understand what I had access to and what the tools did. Apex Trader Funding's dashboard is excellent, but it can be really data heavy. If you're newer to trading or you're not used to tracking drawdowns and progress bars, it might feel overwhelming at first. But once you get the hang of it, the system actually makes you a better trader. And FunderPro, honestly, their site felt a bit bare bones when I first signed up. It's really clean, but you won't find the kind of deep resources that you'll find in like Take Profit Trader or some others. Still, for traders who maybe just want a clean, no-frills path to funding, it really gets the job done. And what about pricing? So this is where I usually get questions like this, like which one gives you the best bang for your buck? Which one has the best value? And honestly, it really just depends on your goals. So all three platforms are reasonably priced, especially when you compare them to the older prop firms with those hidden rules and the slow funding processes. Some traders might find one or two of them a bit pricey, especially if you're just starting out, but for the features and speed that they offer, I think it's a fair trade. Just check the links in the description for the most up-to-date fees, commissions, and promos. I'll try to keep them updated so that you don't miss out on any good deals. So if you're serious about getting funded really quickly without risking your own capital, any of these three could work, but in my experience, Take Profit Trader stood out to me for just its speed, its flexibility, and its payout consistency. And remember that feature that I mentioned earlier that got me to switch? It's their day one payouts. No waiting weeks, no red tape. If you're profitable, you can withdraw pretty much immediately. And that alone makes them, I think, worth a closer look. So check the link in the description to get started with our special discount.